The city was quiet. A soft rain fell on the dark streets. Inside the daily grind, the lights were warm and yellow. The smell of coffee beans and cinnamon filled the small space. It was a cozy place, even late at night. The owner, Maria, was cleaning the counter. She hummed a little song. The espresso machine made a soft, hissing sound. It was just another normal night in her cafe. Maria loved these quiet moments. They were peaceful. The world outside was busy, but in here, everything was calm. The gentle clink of mugs and the low hum of the refrigerator were the only sounds. Suddenly the lights flickered. Just for a second. Maria looked up. She thought it was just the rain. But then she saw something strange outside. A soft blue light glowed in the alley next to her shop. It wasn't a car. It wasn't a street lamp. It was a gentle, pulsing light. She walked to the window and wiped away the steam. She saw a tall, thin figure standing in the rain. It had long arms and big, dark eyes. It was looking right at her cafe. It seemed curious. Maria's heart beat a little faster, but she was not scared. She was just surprised. The figure moved closer to the glass door. Another one appeared behind it. They were tall and graceful. They didn't make any noise. One of them pointed a long finger at the sign that said, "Hot coffee." Its big eyes blinked slowly. Maria could see them looking at the pastries in the window. The croissants, the muffins, the big chocolate chip cookies. They seemed amazed by it all. The smell of coffee must have been very strong for them. It was a new smell, a wonderful smell. It pulled them toward the door like a magnet. Maria did something she never thought she would do. She unlocked the door and opened it. A little bell jingled above her head. The two visitors stood there. They looked at her, and she looked at them. The rain fell softly around them. "We're technically closed," Maria said with a small smile. "But you look like you could use something warm." The aliens tilted their heads. They didn't speak, but they understood. They stepped inside, bringing the cool night air with them. The coffee shop had its first visitors from another world. The night was no longer normal. The next morning, the cafe was busy. The usual customers were there. People reading newspapers, typing on laptops, and chatting with friends. But there were some new faces. Two of the tall, slender aliens sat by the window. They were sipping hot chocolate from big mugs. They held the mugs with both hands, feeling the warmth. No one was screaming or running away. People were just curious. They whispered and smiled. A little girl pointed and said, "Look, Mommy, space people." Her mom just nodded and said, "Yes, sweetie. They like our hot chocolate." It was strange, but it also felt right. Then the door opened again. A new employee walked in. He was a velociraptor. His name was Vinny. He wore a green apron and a friendly smile. His small clawed hands were surprisingly good at carrying trays. "2 lattes for table 5, he chirped. His voice was a mix of a squawk and a friendly greeting. He carefully placed the cups on the table without spilling a drop. The customers at table 5 thanked him. Vinny nodded his head and his tail wagged a little. He was the best server they ever had. He was fast, efficient, and always cheerful. More dinosaurs started to arrive. They were tourists. A Triceratops couple sat in a corner booth. They were looking at a menu together. The booth was a little small for them, but they made it work. A giant T-Rex stood outside. It was too big to come in. So Maria opened the large front window for it. The T-Rex leaned down carefully. Its huge head was bigger than the whole window. It wanted a coffee. Maria wasn't scared. She just asked, Cream and sugar? The T-Rex nodded its massive head very, very slowly. It was a gentle giant. The cafe was a strange and beautiful sight. Humans, aliens, and dinosaurs all shared the same space. A man in a suit sat next to an alien. They both read the morning news on their different devices. A woman shared her blueberry muffin with a small feathered dinosaur. It chirped happily with each bite. The sound of the espresso machine mixed with the soft chatter of different languages and the happy squawks of Vinny the Velociraptor. The cafe was no longer just a cafe. It was a meeting place for everyone, a place where an apron-wearing dinosaur was just part of the morning rush. In the afternoon, the cafe got even more interesting. A new alien arrived. This one was different. It wore a stylish, shimmering jacket. It had a device that floated in front of its face, recording everything. It was a social media influencer from a distant galaxy. It glided over to the dessert case and stared at the cheesecakes. "Greetings, followers," it said in a smooth, metallic voice. "I am here at a primitive but charming establishment called the Daily Grind. Their selection of sucrose-based fuel cakes is quite impressive." It pointed a long silver finger at the strawberry cheesecake. "I shall now sample this cheesecake." Meanwhile, the Triceratops couple decided to share a slice. The slice of New York cheesecake was placed on a big plate between them. They looked at it for a moment. Then, they each used their horns to gently break off a piece. It was a slow and careful process. They chewed thoughtfully, their eyes closed in happiness. They didn't need forks. They had their own special way of enjoying dessert. They looked at each other and made a soft, rumbling sound. It was the sound of two dinosaurs enjoying a sweet treat together. It was a simple, happy moment. At the counter, an alien with 4 arms was ordering a drink. It spoke calmly to Vinny the Velociraptor. "I will have 1 large earth beverage, the one you call caramel macchiato." "Extra caramel, please." Vinny chirped and typed the order into the register. He used his little claws to press the buttons. The alien paid with a small glowing crystal. Maria had a special jar for alien currency. She wasn't sure what it was worth, but the crystals were pretty. The alien waited patiently for its drink, watching Vinny work with great interest. The influencer alien took a bite of its cheesecake. Its large, iridescent eyes widened. "The texture is divine," it announced to its floating camera. "A perfect balance of sweet and tangy. This planet may be behind in interstellar travel, but their dessert technology is light years ahead. I give this cheesecake 5 out of 5 cosmic stars." It took another delicate bite. The review was a success. Maria smiled. She knew she would probably have more alien customers tomorrow. Her little cafe was becoming famous across the galaxy, all because of her cheesecake. As the day turned to evening, a gentle rain began to fall again. The big T-Rex was still outside. It had finished its first coffee and wanted another. Maria made a fresh pot. She passed a huge, steaming mug through the window. The T-Rex took it very carefully in its small hands. Its movements were slow and deliberate. It brought the mug to its mouth and took a tiny sip. Steam rose around its giant teeth. It looked like a scene from a movie, but it was just a dinosaur enjoying a quiet moment with a warm drink. It watched the rain fall and seemed perfectly content. Inside the cafe was a beautiful mix of beings. An alien barista with skin that shimmered like an oil slick was now behind the counter. She had learned how to make lattes in just 1 hour. Her 3 hands moved quickly and gracefully. One steamed the milk, One pulled the espresso shot, and one drew a perfect heart in the foam. A human customer watched, amazed. "Wow, you're a natural," he said. The alien barista just smiled, a gentle glow coming from her cheeks. She was happy to be useful. She loved the smell of the coffee and the happy faces of the customers. The cafe became a symbol of connection. It didn't matter if you had scales, fur, or shimmering skin. It didn't matter if you came from down the street or from a galaxy far away. In the daily grind, everyone was just a customer. Everyone wanted a break, a moment of peace, a good cup of coffee. The warm liquid in the cup was a bridge. It connected worlds. It warmed hands and hearts. It was a simple pleasure that everyone could understand. The language of a good coffee was universal. Maria looked around her crowded cafe. She saw a human and an alien laughing together over a shared joke. She saw Vinny the Velociraptor delivering a cookie to a little girl. She saw the T-Rex outside, peacefully sipping its coffee in the rain. Her heart was full. This was more than a business. It was a community. A strange, wonderful, and beautiful community. And it all started with the simple, magical smell of coffee. It was proof that no matter who you are or where you are from, a good cup of coffee can make everything feel okay.